Brian, have you had any time off?
Yeah, I have actually. I've been away. Been away from the club enough. Glad to get back in.
Looking forward to the challenges ahead. It all starts again. It seems never ending, doesn't it, at times?
I don't. Yeah, I think it's good. Really excited about being back in, and missed everybody at Leeds. It's we all went on a bit of a journey there for 2 years, really, which culminated in the end of 2017. But to you go through all that with them, you're not missing them when you're not with them. So had some time in Oz with the World Cup, with USA, and that was good. A very rewarding experience. Then came back and just knocked him out a bit and just got some stuff sorted out at home, and yeah, glad to be back in.
How beneficial is that American experience at the World Cup for you? I guess a fresh group of people to work with, fresh ideas.
It was good. It was good. I really enjoyed it. It's not easy work as well. I think just getting on a plane. Every time I travel, it's normally with a Rhinos tracksuit on, so I've got a group of people around me saying, this is where you go, turn left now, put your ticket there, go sit in that chair. When you travel on your own, you realise it's not as easy as that, is it? So by the time I got to Oz, my head was frazzled. But the guys who I worked with were extremely committed, really good eggs, enjoyed them all. We had some limitations about our abilities, but that was always the case, and we knew what was entering when we eventually qualified. But it's a different version of coaching, and in a different country, and it's sometimes the cliches, the change as good as the rest, and that was true. It was I got a fair bit out of it.
You come back to a slightly different group of players to the one you left. Obviously some people have moved on, you've got some new faces coming in. How excited are you about the challenge ahead and the possibility of retaining your crown?
Yeah, pretty excited. I think there's some realistic chances we can do that, and I don't think throughout the whole of 2017 we ever went through too many really bad patches. I know we had some spikes of not being great, but we didn't go through too many bad patches. But I've got to say, I don't think we also went through too many purple patches either. I don't think too often we said wow to ourselves, that was very good, and we need to be able to say that more. So there is some improvement in us. But just generally, you look back on 2017, it was going to be a positive season's end, regardless whether we got to or won the grand final. I think we made enough progressions from 2016 that we could have been excited about this pre-season. So the fact that it finished like it did, I'm just keen to stress that nobody in the camp's thinking, well, there's a job done. And I knew that it's not something I've had to deliver to the players. The players all said they can't wait to get back in. It's the first end of season review I've done with the players where they're all still looking bright-eyed and they all want to get back in. So I think losing Kev and JP and Kylie, we went through a period there after them, and then obviously we lost Mags and Rob now. But we're in so much better shape to deal with all that there is some genuine excitement about next year.
Has that experience from after 2015, has that helped, do you feel?
For sure. Was it ever?
And looking at it, obviously the success at Old Trafford brings its own challenge, and you're going back to Australia again, the World Club Challenge. How much of a challenge is that so early in the season?
Yeah, it's something that we'll have to deal with. But I'd rather deal with it than not, So getting on an aeroplane within 12 hours of playing a game to then, have 5 days prep to go playing a World Cup Challenge, then come back and then the following week fall straight back into Super League again. There's some stuff there that we've got to get right. And if we don't get it right, it can hurt us. But I want to be in that environment. We want those problems or challenges, as you say. We'd like those.
It is a bit of a different task having to go there rather than playing a game at home, but was there never any doubt in your mind you and the lads happy to go to Australia and play for that crown?
There was some doubt about whether the game was going to come on, take place, wasn't it? But I think most of our English lads who have played in the World Cup Challenges and seen the World Club Challenges played over here, I think I'm speaking for a fair few that we want to go do it over there now. We've had some success over here, and some years we lose, but I think it means more if you go over there in their backyard. and try and get some success out there.
I'm going to say, given the World Cup and England pushed Australia very, very close, everyone in Super League wants you to go and do very well and represent the competition. Do you feel any extra pressure on that, or is it just all about this club? And
no pressure, no pressure. But we're aware that probably we fly the flag a little bit. For us, I'm not so sure whether Melbourne would take much notice, but for us, we'd fly the flag a bit.
And just finally from me, Wakefield coming up Boxing Day, nice to get out there for the players, do you feel, get on the field rather than just doing what they do in pre-season? Yeah,
it's a festive challenge that we've played for many a year, and I'm not sure if one was frozen off, was it a couple of years ago? I can't remember, but Gary reminded me that it's been, I think it's been like 3,000 years since the last one was called off, so you know, it's good that we play this festive challenge, but we do it over at Bellevue this year, which is different.
Any further questions?
Brian, what have you made of Melbourne this year? I think they've only lost 4 games. Have you seen much of them?
I've seen enough to be, to know that we've got a good challenge in our hands. I'll be honest with you, I don't watch an incredible amount of NRL, although I do check in with it quite often. They go through stages, I think, Melbourne, when you watch them, of being really, really clinical about what they do, and it's almost you could predict what it is they're going to do. But I also think they've got a really good blend, and this is what makes them a really dangerous team. They've got a really good blend of seeing that somebody's falling over and exploiting them there and then. You know, they've got some and had some fantastic players that the machine ran so well that those individual players could maybe stand back and have a look at somebody who'd fallen over and go down a short side when it's the right time to do so. So, the World Cup challenges that we've been involved in the past, you might think, well, tactically we got unpicked there. I remember playing North Queensland a couple of years ago, and they come up with a play on our left-hand side, and it unpicked us. But it wasn't the actual player that unpicked us. It's not something that we don't face every week in Super League. It's just the speed and the strength of carry leading up to the play when they pull the trigger. So our task against Melbourne is going to be a physical task. They may come up with something that we've never seen before. And, knowing Craig Bellamy's pretty studious as a coach, and he may come up with something that we're not prepared for. But I'm going to gamble and say I don't think we'll see too much. I don't think we'll get surprised too much about what we'll face. It's just the level of intensity that we'd have to get our boys ready for, especially strength of carry.
Just on the World Cup, what you found as a positive experience for the American team? Obviously, a lot of domestic players have got a chance to compete at the highest level, much more than the previous World Cup.
For sure, and it's an interesting chat to have because, the USA were the surprise package of the 2013 World Cup, wasn't it? And everybody got behind them, and everybody thought, wow, they're great there. But I think one bloke in the whole squad had an American accent, and the rest of them were Aussies and Kiwis. And I don't think that's a bad thing if your objective is to go to the World Cup and win some games and create some headlines because you've gone so well. But then you've got to understand that the legacy was almost zero of the fallout from 2013. And Pete Ilfield, who spends that much time on the job, he's the chairman of USA Rugby League, recognise that the new body of people need to create a legacy. They need to go through some experiences, and it can't always be an Aussie, a Kiwi, or an English accent that is telling them about rugby league. And the only way you can get some American accents telling an American group of people, this is what rugby league's about, this is the culture, this is how you train, this is what you do when you lose, win, this is what you eat. The only way you can do that is get them to go through the experience. So I think a lot of people got that, and I felt the journalists while we were out there got it as well, that we got pumped off everybody. We got done by Fiji 58-10, but weirdly during the game, I never once saw any of our fellas turn it in. We just couldn't physically keep hold of the big things, and I thought, well, I'm going to have to answer some really difficult questions here about what you're doing with this group of people that shouldn't be here. But they understood it. They got it, that we got to bite the pillar, to create that legacy, so they can go back to the American shores now, and that's the task for them. That's the real challenge for the American boys, not just to put the collars up and roll the shoulder and say I was involved in a World Cup. They've got to use it, almost go on a road trip and you know, a roadshow and tell all that Eastern Seaboard that love rugby league, tell them what it's like and try and grow the game.
Hopefully that Denver game between England and New Zealand that happens could help.
It could help, but it's not just one. Yeah, it could help. I've got to stop being cynical. Yeah, it could help, but you've got the build up to it's got to be great, and then what you do with it afterwards is more important. Just the fact that we play a game of rugby league in Denver is not going to convert people. You know, they're not going to say, right, wow, well, let's all buy a season ticket for Toronto. But the fact is, you have got to make people aware, and playing those games over there is the start point for sure.
For you, are you staying through the next World Cup with the Hawks, or are you sort of role finished?
It's not a no, but nothing's been confirmed yet.
That's something you like to do, Brian, just continue with the USA going forward.
Again, it's not a no. I really enjoyed the international coaching. I thought it's a different version of coaching, as I've already said, and I think you know, some of the choices you've got to make as an international coach about what you can do with the players over a short space of time, and deciding what's important and what's not for that group of players at that period of time, and working out that, well, we can't do that, we don't need to do that, let's just nail this. I really enjoyed that. So the international coaching bit I liked. Whether that's with USA or not, I don't know.
Do you think it works well being a full-time coach and then doing an international commitment part-time, like you've just done? Like
well, yeah, for sure. Yeah. The answer is yes. It depends who you've got doing some legwork for you. You know, like Wayne Bennett's got a lot of people doing legwork for him up at the RFL, hasn't he? So by the time he meets up with everybody, there's been a hell of a lot of work gone in there from his assistant coaches, from Paul Anderson and Dennis Betts through the year. And you know, he's got some great support with JP and Kevin Sinfield, who, you know, I would imagine had a huge influence over, you know, the squad that was put together and finalised the team. So my support network was a couple of blokes over an email, you know, at the other side of the world who weren't even in the country where we were going to play. So there was some challenges to it. But if you're asking, could you be a full-time Super League coach and be a international coach part-time? Of course you can, yeah.
If the England job came up saying you were approached, would you consider it?
Yes.
Because obviously there's a decision to make for Wayne Bennett in the next month or so. Are you sort of is it all just a waiting game for everyone and just waiting and seeing what he decides before anything happens?
Listen, I'm cool. I'm at ease with coaching Leeds. I love coaching Leeds. You know, and at no stage would I go ever chase that job. I don't think it's a job you chase, actually. No. And I wouldn't want the job at any expense either. If I was to do the job, I'd want to do it my way, which won't be too radical, but I'm just trying to make a point that I'm not going to get veered off the track to go chase the England job. And if it becomes available and you know, I get a phone call, I'm certainly up for that. But I think they've got a good bloke in charge at the moment. I thought they had a good bloke in charge before Wayne Bennett as well, by the way. I don't think they were that far off with Steve Mack, and you know, so wherever really, without trying to sound like a 16-year-old kid with an attitude, whatever.
I can imagine that answer on the phone call if it ever comes. Brian, do you fancy being in close? Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. That's what I said to Gary. I said, yeah, if you want.
Right, just regarding America, the NFL, there's some amazing athletes play that game, and all of them make the grade. Is that a market you feel rugby league maybe should be looking to tap into? They do look at that. They are over there. It's very much just the same thing about London Broncos, you know, and the team in London. Do you think they should tap into the Union boys that don't make the cut for the Premiership? They do. But it's just resource, isn't it? It's money. That's everything comes back to money. And what you lot think is a really well-run, well-oiled machine, whether it be the NFL or Premiership football or rugby union, and league's got a lot to catch up. It's not the case sometimes. It's just that there's some unbelievably innovative pathways and structures and systems within rugby league, like there is in all sports, but we don't get to talk about it too much because we don't have the resource. So all that Eastern Seaboard, they're always trying to catch the kids that fall out of college,
you know, football. But why would they go play for somebody that don't pay them too much? You know.
Yeah, is that a market maybe you'd look at for Leeds? You know, is it something you could tap into? Do you think longer term?
You tell me a scenario where somebody drops out of college football in America. Okay, tell me what that scenario looks like, where we then give them a certain amount of money, pay for their flights to come over, to live in a country over here with no family or support around them. How much do you think it's going to cost us to convince them to do that for a bloke that may or may not make it?
Don't know.
It does happen.
Yeah.
But we don't have a billionaire owner. Everything's about money. It's all about money.
I get that.
It's all about money. And the gene pool from, you know, England's team, England did incredibly well in the World Cup, picking a team from a gene pool that's limited. And the answer to that is money. It's not that the coaches aren't doing a good job, or it isn't that we don't have enough coaches, and it isn't even that the RFL aren't doing a good job. It's just been done at a level down there somewhere because of lack of money and resource, in my opinion.
How are you looking squad-wise, Brian, in terms of recruits? Are you looking for 1 or 2 more? Or
no, that's us. That's our squad. I think our squad's good. I like our squad at the moment. I like how balanced it is. You know, you don't want to put the knocker on anything, but you know, the Warrington boys have come in and have made their mark straight away. You know, they've been really good in training. Nate Peter, who's come in, and I knew on the phone when I was talking to him that he wants to be here. You know, I've been saying this for a couple of years with our recruits. You got to want to be here, and he wants to grow his game and become a better player than what he is now. He's not just bringing his talent here and saying, right, you can use me how you want. He wants to be a better player than when he leaves, and I'm really excited about where Brad Singleton's at, and Liam Sutcliffe and Jimmy Kynhorst, where Stevie Ward's at, you know, and Ash Golden and Jack Walker, and you know, we've got some blokes there where they're not senior players by any stretch. You won't call them senior players yet because they're not old enough and they're not playing enough games, but they've been through it a bit. They've been through some incredible experiences, winning and losing, which makes them a real tough group of players. And you know, you get their attention really quick. I find I'm getting their attention really quick when I speak to them, all the way through last year, because I went on in 2016. They switched on, they're very aware.
you decided on your captain yet?
We're close to it. Yes, is probably the answer, but I'm not going to tell you yet.